So, welcome back to the channel. If there's anything that I've realized in the last 2 year or so, is that honestly, I am kind of addicted to social media. Whether that be Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, anything really. It's just I find myself automatically going to these apps, which is really not healthy. And to be honest, this has been a problem for a while now. While I do manage my time very well, effectively, because obviously I am doing a lot of work for uni and research, I still find myself, whenever I open my phone, heading straight to Twitter. Scrolling, so doom scrolling, basically. Like, I think I have these crazy stats that I have liked this many things on Twitter, or I've retweeted or posted this many things on Twitter. And that's honestly not healthy. And I kind of got called out by my friends, Abbas and Alex. Since then, we've kind of agreed a challenge for me. The challenge is to go and not use social media for 2 weeks. So, yeah, here we go. I'll go through it with you guys. So, welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe. So, what's the challenge? My challenge is to use only 15 minutes of Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok per day. Only that, to reply to anybody, any reels, anything that is sent to me, to check anything, Twitter or X, if you like to say it that way. It's 15 minutes per day. Conditions: if I go over, I add a day to the 2 weeks. That's how it works. What's allowed? I'm allowed podcasts on YouTube when I'm working and cooking. I like to have podcasts in the background, so I am allowed podcasts. I'm allowed YouTube for uni research and dissertation and stuff like that, which I think is reasonable. Obviously, I will have to make that distinction if that happens. So I am allowed YouTube for uni and research. I'm still allowed WhatsApp, Messenger, Discord to call my friends and kind of talk to them, because I don't want to become a hermit. So I'll definitely still have these things. So yeah, I can still talk to people. It's not so extreme that I'm gonna cut off from everybody. But yes, these are the rules. One thing I would definitely say is YouTube is a genuine addiction. Like, I found it so hard to get through the day without watching any YouTube, and that was particularly hard for me in terms of I have this innate need of knowledge, which sounds kind of cringy, but I do want to know what is happening, what's going on, and I think a big part of that is me watching YouTube. I think I am coping, to be honest. I do watch a lot of YouTube, and I found it incredibly hard to make it through. I also didn't watch any TV shows unless I was with my housemate, and he was very busy, so I almost watched nothing in the last 2 weeks, and I found that incredibly hard. I think you do need some entertainment in your life. You can't not make it through. It just gets to you, and I think by day 4, I was really just feeling I was very bored. Alright, so I think I've finished off the amount of work I need to do. It's time to head in and have this meeting, and then we'll come back home. Actually, I'll probably stay in uni and work a little more, and then, yeah, so. Cool. A lot of work. Still no YouTube, still no Twitter, still no Instagram. I'm so frustrated right now. So, I'm working with Abbas.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
He's the reason I'm doing this project. He is the guy who has forced this upon me.
Forced all of this nuisance upon him, because he's a nuisance to society.
Those are some terrible allegations, and I refute them all. So, as I said, we're gonna be working. We have some MUN later.
We do have MUN.
Which I am the president of.
Yes, care to explain what MUN is?
They can search it up.
They can find out.
I lead a society, and this guy was the ex-president, and he forced me upon it. So I am now president of the society.
He won the election, so let's not.
I'm a man of the people, as they say.
You?
Yes, I am. I won an election. I'm a man of the people.
You won by 1 vote.
I won. I won, and that's all that matters.
That is what matters. He's been a good president. I must say so.
There you go. But yes, we're gonna be working. One thing I will say is, as I was doing a challenge, I lost motivation. I think I've applied to 40 jobs in the last 2 weeks, and that is a complete record. So I think that's one great thing that's come out of this. I hope I get a job from one of these places, but yeah. So heading home, gonna drop my bag off, and since I can't use social media, I've been very bored. So thanks to a friend, I got some United game tickets very cheap. So I'm gonna go see Ruben Amram's first Old Trafford game. So yeah, let's go.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Europa League, we please welcome Bologna and Manchester United.
Game done. Social media is still not opened. I reached 15 minutes today at around 2 p.m. So I haven't looked at anything for the rest of the day, which is super frustrating. But yeah, I'm finding it quite hard, to be honest, because I also want to see what's happening in my friends' lives and talk to them. Send reels to each other and all this stuff, and send text us. But yeah, just can't. 15 minutes is just not enough. And a lot of the time I find myself thinking, what am I doing? Because I just sit there with nothing to do. Can't watch anything, can't watch any YouTube, can't scroll Twitter, scroll TikTok. And it's hard. Honestly, it's hard. You don't realize how much time you spend on these apps. And, I'm just 2 days in, but you feel it. For sure. Like, I've done so many job applications today that, I wouldn't have done this much time, because I just have that free time right now, because I'm not on social media or on YouTube or on Netflix or something. It's crazy how much life revolves around these apps sometimes. But it's been nice for the detox. But I really do want to watch something, or I do want to scroll some TikTok, because it's entertainment at the end of the day. And I feel like you shouldn't be using it as much as I have done, but there's a place for it. There's a place and a time. I think with all things, there's moderation anyway. So, but yeah. Day 2 done. On to day 3. Alright, so it's day 5. I failed for the first time. I'm not sugarcoating it. I just kind of stayed up a little later than I expected, and I used under 10 minutes during like the night at 1 a.m. Yeah, I woke up again and used social media again for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I checked my screen time, and bam, 25 minutes in total. So this guy here, my housemate, has declared that I have failed today. And so, yeah, I mean, I expected this to happen, really, to be honest. It was never going to be super easy, but I guess this is a rebound day. You can see how addicts can, go back to drugs in this sense. It's, this is just social media, but, yeah.
Extreme comparison.
It's a comparison nonetheless. So I'll make sure that this doesn't happen again. So, yeah. So, yeah. I also found myself having a lot more time for hobbies. And I picked up Dune. I've been meaning to read it since I watched Dune 2, because Dune 1 and 2 were absolutely incredible movies. And then I also was gifted a Dune novel for my birthday, which was in April. And, it's December now. And I've finally gotten around to starting, reading again, because I used to be obsessed with reading back when I was a kid, and it's kind of fallen off as I've kind of grown up. I watch a lot more TV shows now. Obviously, I do YouTube, so I don't have a lot of time, especially with a degree on my hand and stuff like that. So I did feel like I was reading a lot more. I was, playing golf, which is a new hobby that I've picked up. I just had more time to kind of dedicate to myself and my hobbies. I was going to gym more as well, which is surprising because I had more time on my hands, like that's just how it is. So that was also very positive in general. So I've completed the challenge. 2 weeks. It's crazy how hard that it was, especially at the start, considering honestly for me, I would open my phone and then go to Insta immediately. It would be involuntary almost, and I feel like that is something that is almost programmed into us nowadays, which is kind of scary. But I think this challenge was very satisfying to do in terms of the more I did it, the less I cared about what is happening everywhere. Obviously, I was kind of reading the news more because I do tend to get a lot of news from Twitter, which is obviously not great, especially after Elon Musk has taken over. But I found myself reading a lot more, found myself reading news. I also found myself having so much more time in the day where I could apply for jobs, complete some work. And it was very fulfilling in that sense because in my life so far, I've been balancing a lot of things, namely, societies where I'm a president for Manchester MUN. I've also been, balancing uni as well as work and having to balance all of these things while having to also apply for jobs and also maintain a social life, really. It's hard. It's very hard. And, while you're doing all this, you also want to be online, make sure you're catching with friends, talking to them every day. This stuff adds up, really. And I feel like in all of this, social media has kind of consumed our smaller periods of time where we have those 15 minutes where, let's say you want to take a break. You'll be on social media instead of, maybe applying for a job or maybe doing some work. And yes, I do think social media is necessary in a sense because I did feel very isolated in terms of I didn't know what was going on. As I said, it was a good and a bad. And I think with that, I do think social media is good, but I definitely think we should restrict the amount of time. So maybe restrict your Insta usage to 1 hour a day or your Twitter usage to 1.5 hours a day, something like that, instead of just letting it go freely. I think that is definitely something that should be done, and I think that is definitely not something that I'm going to be incorporating into my life. One thing I also felt was I felt a lot more peaceful as the challenge went on because even though I thought social media wouldn't really affect me in terms of comparison or comparing myself to others and others' lives, I guess I was subconsciously doing that. And honestly, as the challenge went on, I felt more and more peaceful. I wasn't caring as much about what's going on in other people's lives, even though, that's a distinct part of being human. But I felt like that comparison, that inside voice saying, oh, someone's doing this, you should also do it. Or someone's bought this, you should also save up for that experience or something like that. It wasn't there anymore. And really, it was just, what are you doing? Focus on yourself, productivity, do your work, do your job applications, do YouTube, do your hobbies. And I found myself fixating on my own life a lot more, and it also gave me a lot of time to process a lot of things that I've been kind of not really thinking about because I've been busy. What I also found myself doing was I called my friends a lot more in terms of just video calling them out of the blue, or instead of messaging them back and forth. As you can see, I just got a message. Instead of messaging them back and forth, I would kind of just call them. Now, I do call my friends a lot because my friends do live very far away. I have a lot of friends around the world, and I do call them quite a lot just to kind of talk to them, what's up, what's happening, play a game with them, and that's been a part of my life. But I was calling my friends in Manchester and the UK a lot more often, and I think that was very interesting because I didn't expect myself to be checking in with my friends so much because Well, the truth is, I wasn't looking at their stories, so I did have to find out what they were doing one way or another. And I think that was a very cool thing. I do get a lot, I'm an extrovert, so I do get a lot of energy from talking to people. And I think talking is definitely, well, I am a true yapper, as they say, but you know, it gives me a lot of energy. And I think that was one really good positive outcome out of all of this. I think to tie up my thoughts, social media is something that I still will be using. I obviously, you know, I'm 22. I do want to use social media. And I think that it is something that's kind of essential in our lives, especially as a young person. So I would definitely say there's merit in using it, but obviously it wastes a lot of your time. I think having self-control is the best way to live life in general. Obviously, it takes a lot of effort to have that self-control. So when you do quit social media, I do think you'll get kind of a step back in your life. You kind of get a third person point of view of what you're doing, where are you spending your time, and whether that time being spent is productive. With that being said, pursue your hobbies, make sure that you're spending your time well, and enjoy life. Because at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy life, there's no point. Me personally, I will be now limiting my app usage to 45 minutes a day each on, you know, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I think that is, I'll obviously not be reaching the times, but it'll be a blank timer, and I think I'll set my total social media usage in a day to probably an hour tops. But with that being said, yeah, it's been a great challenge. Christmas is almost here, so Merry Christmas. And yeah, I'm traveling soon, so yeah, enjoy my break. Probably use a little more social media than I did in the last 2 weeks. And yeah, you should try it too. Social media detoxing is a surprisingly effective challenge. With that being said, take care and peace.